what happened? Like, why did they ever break up in the first place?
Well, so the rumors are she was messing around and he was also messing around.
Okay.
And so within that ended everything because the whole rumors with her and Irv and all of the things and blah blah blah. Which
I hope they can stay together because I believe she's a Libra, he's a Scorpio. Which sexually those are good matches, but usually relationship wise, they are not the best. And y'all can fight me in the comments. I don't care. But yeah, she's a Libra, he's a Scorpio. I feel like I feel like Libra and Scorpio are very good friends. So they probably have a really good friendship. I feel like they have a lot of sexual compatibility. But usually when it comes down to it, Scorpios can be a little bit possessive, and they can have a little bit of a like Scorpios are like, they get a little bit possessive, right? And then when something's going on that they don't like, they get a little secretive and kind of vindictive. Whereas Libras can be a little, I'm gonna use the word flirtatious because this is what other people would say, even though I would describe it as just overly friendly. So they can be those kind of people where you feel like, dang, she all up in everybody's face. He all up in everybody's face, but it's just like that social butterfly thing. And I feel like a Scorpio would have to be careful because you can perceive that as, oh, you over here smiling up in all these niggas' faces. You know what I mean? And then now the vindictiveness of the Scorpio starts coming out where the Libra is like, I really just like attention. I'm really just over here having a good time with everybody. It's not that serious. And then you can kind of have a little bit of that of like, your Scorpio person is like, oh, you want to be out here getting attention? I can show you getting attention.
Right.
And now you playing a game that maybe they're not necessarily playing. Or your Libra person can be like, I'm kind of nonchalant. I'm really not going to give you that energy back. I'm not playing into it. And then your Scorpio person is like, oh, you don't give a fuck? I'm going to go even harder.
Right.
And so this is just me speculating, guys. They may not have these kind of issues, but I'm just saying with those two signs, that's how the tit for tat can be. Welcome back to Thoughts in the Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts on a variety of topics.
So sit back, grab your favorite drink, relax, and join us on a journey of laughter, fun, and crazy commentary.
Okay. So every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what's our drink tonight?
So the drink tonight is called the Resort... It's the Resort Punch.
Okay. Resort Punch.
I think that's what it is. I saw it on the ticketed top.
Okay.
On the Instagram. So it's pretty simple. You're going to do, it's 3/4, which is, you could do a little bit more, which makes it an ounce of simple syrup, an ounce of lime juice, and a ounce of curacao. You're going to also then do a ounce and a half of your vodka. Put that into your shaker. Give it a good mixy mix. You're going to strain it over ice.
Okay.
Pretty simple. Nice to do.
Did you say pineapple juice?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did not. Also, I'm so tired, y'all. Also, 2 ounces of pineapple juice.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Definitely been getting some use out of the curacao. I feel like the last 3 or 4 drinks have been blue.
Curacao is just a colored triple sec.
Oh, I didn't know it was triple sec.
Yeah, so interesting. It's a colored triple sec. So you can do red curacao. You could do, so it's a bunch of different colors that you could do, and it still gives you that orange flavor. It's just to make your drink look different colors. So I'm gonna pick up some other ones so we can do some
okay type of drinks. Period.
That's why you can do your blue lemon drops. That's what it is. It's that curacao. So you know how you take triple sec? You do the curacao. You could do the red.
We haven't done a lemon drop.
We haven't? I thought that was the first.
I gotta go back and look, but I don't think so.
Okay, so because I want to do, I've seen a strawberry one.
Okay.
And so I want to try the red well, I wonder if it's called curacao, but it's a red triple sec.
Okay.
And you can.
And that's how you get the color of it. Okay.
So we'll see. Anyway.
Yeah.
How was your week?
I've been busy. So I was in New Orleans. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had a really good trip. It was just like a little weekend getaway. So, I just really enjoyed it. I did a ton of walking, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I really like their culture. I know everybody always talks about that, but for me, I guess, and I've heard people say this too, being in the DC area, I feel that it's very similar. It's very, very similar. The type of music is different, but the culture is very similar. They do, though, one thing I can appreciate about New Orleans is, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they do more so there. They push their culture forward a little bit more than I think we do. I think here, because of the politics and all of that, we try to keep things kind of manicured and prim and proper and all of that. You know, and only time that you really see bands playing out in the street is during festivals, or like, you know, usually if it's random, you have to be careful because now here come the police and y'all don't have a permit and this and that. We're there, you know, from my perspective, it seems like if they randomly decide that they want to do a parade
it up.
Yeah.
Parade.
Or if a band randomly decides that they want to play on the side of the road, they just gonna play on the side of the road. So, and I personally feel like that's okay. I guess you do have to tamp it down if it gets out of hand. But I don't know. I feel like there's something about that, things not being too trying to be too planned out or be too performative, that's more genuine.
Yeah.
I had a good trip. I tried Cafe Du Monde beignets. I tried Cafe Beignet. The beignets were good. I don't know if it's maybe because I'm getting older, or because like we've been trying to like cut back calories and do a little bit better with like eating healthy. I was not crazy about the beignets. Like it was just like sweet bread.
Okay.
Cafe Beignet was more biscuity.
Okay.
Cafe Du Monde was more it kind of reminded me of a funnel cake.
Okay.
They were good, but it just, I don't know, you know, like when you haven't been having sugar and you haven't been having bread in a while, then when you eat it, it's like, I don't know, like it just, it was like
too much.
Yeah. It was, I was like, I almost couldn't even tolerate it. So that was that. The food was good there. Everything that I ate was good. I tried gator. I tried, I don't like eggs. I didn't try any, what's that, etouffee?
Okay.
I didn't eat that. But, everything was good that I had. The gumbo was good. Jambalaya was good. Literally everything I had was good. What I will say is this. Also, living in this area, I feel like we're a little bit spoiled where we have really good restaurants. So, like, I have been to restaurants here at home that does gumbo really good. That does, like, New Orleans style gumbo really good. So, when I get there and I have it,
it's like I've tasted it.
Yeah. You know, it was like, oh, okay, this is very similar to one that I've had at home. So it may be a little bit different as far as like maybe some of the seasonings or some of the spices, but I think the restaurants here, the good, like the
top tier,
like the Miss Toyas, like the some of the higher
that migrated from that area. People,
I feel like they got it right.
Yeah.
So when I went down there and ate, I kind of was like, okay, like I see the material. Like it's not like a shock to my system of like I've never had gumbo like this before.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I recommend. The food was good. The culture was good. We did a lot of walking tours, which I love. We did a lot of like the historical, going through and learning the history about the city and all of that. I be into that kind of stuff. So it was fun to me.
I want to go to New Orleans so bad, and I want to go. Everybody's like, I want to go during Essence. I want to go when it's not a lot of people, so that I can really enjoy
So
it.
literally going right after Essence, I feel like was perfect.
Okay.
Because it was still a little busy, it was still a little buzz, but it wasn't crazy.
Right. Okay. Maybe I need to do that next year.
But I actually want to go to Essence Festival because I want, now that I've gone to New Orleans, I kind of want to see what the festival is all about.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do that, but I don't want that to be my first
time there.
I
understand. So yeah, so that was really not my weekend, but I mean, ain't shit going on during the week, but recovering from that, so
it's always good. My week was good. Outside of stuff that's going on at work, so ready for people to get their honeys about these seats and go about their day. Other than that, it's kind of been quiet. Janae was in summer school, so that's done. So her actual graduation is coming up. So
nice.
That's going to be the day before my birthday. So that's my birthday present to myself.
Okay.
Her birthday present to me. That's all I ask for, is that you graduate on time. Might be a little late, but still on time.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's really it. Just trying to start getting stuff ready for for my birthday's coming up in August. September we're going to Labor Day weekend we're going to Massanutten, and then 2 weeks after that is when we're going on the cruise. So this is what I do want to talk about.
Yes.
Do you know anything about all of the technology going down?
No. I've been oblivious. What is going on with that?
People were grounded.
My Netflix wasn't working. That's all I know. That's all I know. I couldn't log into Netflix. What happened?
Lights was grounded. I talked to my mom. It was one guy that she has on her team. Works from home. He couldn't access the network. I mean, they grounded all flights.
Wow.
All of the flights.
I did see something
and
that
it affected Spirit the most.
I did see something that said everybody was affected except for Southwest. I saw something that said, meanwhile, Southwest.
Someone said, come on, y'all. we out here.
I wonder why. I wonder if, like, I'm just curious as to, like, what kind of operating system they're running on to where they weren't affected by it. Or if it was just a coincidence. If maybe
same as Amazon, because Amazon said, come on and shop, because we out here.
Because Prime was working. Like, I literally couldn't get onto Netflix, but we started watching Prime. That's how I was able to watch in Divorce in the Black.
Divorce in the Black. So I'm curious to see the fallout from this. But I bring this up also because, to piggyback, a lot of the Democratic Party is asking for, because, of course they put everything on, because this is considered a cyber attack on the president's shoulders. And they're like, Biden, baby, it's time for the retirement home. It's time to move out and let somebody else in. And this is what it reminds me of. As my grandmother's getting older, she physically can't do stuff. Yeah. We also see that mentally, as strong as you are, there are some gaps. There are some things that aren't firing on the same cylinders. And so it's like we're trying to show her different ways of doing things, and she's kind of so stuck in her own way that it's like, even though this makes sense, and even though this is going to make my life easier, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I agree. The issue that I have with this, as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, and as far as the presidential advisors are concerned, the issue that I have is this. Yes, he's getting old. We knew that. That's not a secret. So my first issue is this. Was there never a plan in place? Right. Because 4 years ago, when he was elected, I mean, this is elementary school math. If you was 80, then you're going to be 84. Right. At the end. Right. So to the advisors and to his staff, was there never a plan on, as he gets older, how do we transition? and so that's problem number one, because this was a concern that was brought up when he ran the first time.
Right.
And you all made it seem like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. He's fine, he's fine, he's fine. You know, whatever. Right. But I just kind of feel like there should have been some sort of contingency plan. And if there wasn't one, that's an issue. And if there was one, why aren't we enacting it now? My second issue that I have is this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it works is there's a president and then there's a vice president. If the president is incapable, then it goes to the vice president.
Correct.
My issue is this. Y'all don't like who y'all pick for vice president. Clearly.
Right.
Clearly.
Right.
Because if you did, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
But I think that the issue also is not just about, and because this is the devil's advocate of me. Sometimes it's not about her. She's as a wife. You're good enough to be a wife. You're not good enough to be head of the household.
Then you shouldn't be in the position, because that's especially for a candidate that's this old.
Yes.
That is the next step.
Right. But I think that.
I can't agree with that, because that is the natural next step. If this man were to die from COVID, she would be our president. If y'all had an issue with that, you put her on the ticket because you wanted the votes. You didn't want her to do the job, and now it's becoming clear. And I just feel like as a party, that's unacceptable. Like, you all need to do a better job. Like, if you didn't want her, it's either shit or get off the pot.
Right.
You put her in the position, let her do the job.
And I'll say, and it may be part of that, but I also know, I think that what I was alluding to as well is not necessarily the party. The party also knows the people. Yeah. And most people, most men, because those are going to be the ones that's going to get out and vote, and a lot of women do not want to see a woman in charge.
But that's okay, as far as so we can. What I'm saying is, as far as how he's operating right now, he has a second in command.
Right.
So instead of trying to focus on him, the way it should work in his current role, if he's not able to do it, he has a backup.
And I don't think I don't think the work is the issue. I think because when as people have put out there, when he is on a podium, when it's like what he's supposed to say is projected, he's working. It's fine. Yeah. Because he can hold a meeting. He's not off the cuff with stuff. Right. He already is aware of stuff. When you're having a debate, when you I'm gonna say even in real life, if you're not a person that's used to debate constant, you're going to not be able to. Yeah. It is, especially if somebody is saying like outlandish things,
purposely trying to throw you off.
You're going to be kind of taken aback. And so sometimes your comebacks, and it's different when you're a candidate and you have comebacks and being a president and having comebacks. So you have to think through that. And sometimes I think as he's getting older, thinking through it in the spotlight makes you like, well, go ahead and say something. And it's kind of like, which has been brought to our attention, his speech impediment, all of those different things. And so I know part of it, and I feel like part of it is we, as a people, have not been, we are truthful in we don't want women as leaders. And so as long as she can, like, again, in the feeling of, she could be in the background making all the decisions. Oh, you're the wife, you making all the decisions. But the person that we want to see, baby, it ain't you. And it may not be the party's decision. Like, no, we had women heads of things, but heads of state is still a people problem. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that it is a party problem. I think the party would prefer there be, like Kamala, come on and step in and do it. Yeah. But you doing that then also solidifies, okay, well, if he can't do it, I'm going to just vote for another man. I really believe that no one thought Donald Trump would run again.
How could they not?
I think that we all we are living in Harry Potter to me. Okay. This is ridiculous. Yeah. We are in a space of you can't be serious. Right. Right? Right. And this is in my opinion, this is very unusual. And so you're asking me to move in a very unusual space. This is usually not how things go.
Right.
And so you're dealing with a person, like you're dealing with a lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you're dealing with a lunatic, everything that they do is too much.
Yeah.
And so you don't really have a game plan for lunatics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you like you could say, you know, the Joker crazy.
Right.
You know he gonna do this, but logic, it's like that don't make sense.
It's like because he's crazy, you can't even logically think of what his next step would be because it's so outlandish.
It's just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
so even with his VP pick has said it time, like, for years. This man is crazy. Mm-hmm. He's this. He's that. So you wouldn't even think he would pick someone that despises him. Mm-hmm. But then he gonna pick somebody that despises him. And this man, I think his pick is 35. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just no one is prepared. I don't even think logical people are not prepared for
what's happening
right now. And I think that you hoped, okay, I'll just say this, you did not see a lot of Biden
right
before the election.
Correct.
Right? So I think he was insulated in a way of
yes
everything was on, you didn't see him in the socials. But now
that he's running again, the
spotlight is on you, and it's only so, like, even, and I'll say this, he could have been fine a year ago, and this, that, and the fourth, whatever. Other things transition.
They do.
Very, very quickly, especially when you're overwhelmed, when you're nervous, when you have, so you're dealing with all these other stuff and being older. Mm-hmm. But then I also think, okay, so we're dealing with this now with Biden, who has sense, who is very logical in how he does stuff. I couldn't imagine having to deal with the same age Donald Trump.
Yeah. Because he's behind him. Because
they only 3 years apart.
Right.
And so his lunaticness of what we're looking at as a person, like, okay, you're 70s. Oh, I'm sorry, he's 80s as well.
I think he's 79.
Okay.
We could look at him real quick.
So you're pushing 80.
Right.
And you touched by an angel just on GP.
Right.
So old age has, like, to me, is going to set it off when you really... Trump right, finna be 79.
Right.
And then next thing you know...
And Biden's 81, so yeah.
You're right behind him.
Yeah.
So let's, like, I think that because Trump has been always saying these crazy, out of control things, they just equate it with him being out of control.
Yeah.
They look at, okay, Biden's moving a little slower, I equated that he's losing something. Mm-hmm. That man had already lost, but this been touched for very long time.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine, from his presidency, the stuff that he did then, imagine being, and this your last time even being able to be president.
Yeah.
No holds bar on what you will do.
Yep.
I feel like we living in fantastical land.
Yeah. I normally we don't really get into the politics of it, and I mean, it is what it is, right?
It's like really everywhere at this point.
It is what it is, and I'm not. Neither one of us are endorsing anybody to do anything other than vote and make sure your voice is heard.
Vote for your morals and what works for you.
Right.
But
the facts are the facts. Like, some of this shit is really crazy. Some of the stuff that's going on is, like, it's unprecedented. But whatever. It is. That's why we have a democracy. That's why people can vote. That's why things are the way they are. But
here we are, child. Listen, it's just a mess. But anyway, that's been on the news cycle. So that's politics with thought to the glass.
Right.
Speaking of fantastical, we went into the Tyler Perry world.
Yes.
Last night.
Yes.
And we watched Divorce in the Black with Corey Hardrick and
Megan Good.
Our good friend Megan Good, and it was a star-studded cast.
It was actually
not star-studded. Her family was star-studded.
It was a lot of good.
I'm not saying there wasn't any good actors. I'm just saying people that you would automatically
that people would recognize.
Yes.
Right.
But it was good. I will say that, of course, because we're late in watching it, a lot of stuff has already been circulating via the socials. And so when you have things that are back to back to back, it makes a movie look worse than it may actually be. And that's kind of the space that I was in. So we were hesitant to watch it, but we said no. We don't like when people only see our clips and judge the whole conversation off of the clip. So we're not going to do that to Mr. Perry. So, what were your thoughts?
So, I was dreading watching it. I was like, here we go. All I could think of was, y'all made me watch Mia Copa, and I was not impressed.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. Remember I said that movie had such potential, and it got real soap opera-y towards the end. But this movie is so funny. I feel like he did the complete opposite.
Right.
He put all the soap opera drama in the front, but then on the back end, the movie was not bad.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. I thought it was gonna be
Meet the Browns.
Yes. Yes. I thought it was gonna be Medea.
Right, family reunion that got beat up.
But it actually wasn't bad. So the one critique I would make, aside from all the drama being kind of in the first part of the movie, which in all honesty, I didn't even mind the drama. Like it was outlandish, but in context of the story, it was somewhat believable. You know what I mean? In the context of, spoiler alert. I'm not even going to try to not say certain things because
at this point, it's been out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it. So in the context of, you are living in poverty, and you have grown up in an environment where, or you have been in this environment where you're kind of able to get whatever you want by bullying, and you kind of living this rapscallion kind of life where it's like a lot of hood mess going on, a lot of killing, a lot of drugging and all of that kind of stuff. Understanding a slice of that lifestyle, having kind of been in proximity and knowing people that live like that.
Yes.
Seeing people act crazy at a funeral, at least for me, I'm not like it tracks. Okay. Now, I've never had anybody pull a body out of casket.
I ain't never had nobody take their clothes off.
And I've never had nobody take their clothes off. But I have been to very ghetto funerals where they do inappropriate stuff. They say inappropriate stuff.
Right.
The pastor says something
slick.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Family members jump up and that's bullshit. That's
right.
I think he took what we can kind of see sometimes in our community, especially in more hood type, situations. I think he took that and just made it
and blew it up.
And made it kind of more comical, more dramatic than it normally. But looking at it through the lens of like, okay, this is a TV show and he's trying to make it dramatic, but there are people that do act crazy at funerals,
especially in the South.
They may not go that far, and maybe some people do. Maybe some people are like, yeah, I've seen that before. Maybe, but I've never seen that. Yeah. But I have seen people do crazy stuff. So I'm saying all of this to say, even that part, as crazy as it wasn't that wild to me. It's like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit happens sometimes. Yeah. Like, shit like that happens sometimes when you're dealing with a certain type of people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was the first critique I had. The second critique that I had was, and somebody said this on TikTok, I don't know if it's that he needs to hire writers, but what I am finding with a lot of his films is that there's a lack of character development that I really I'm really craving. So sometimes we get dropped in the middle of these storylines.
Yes.
And we get dropped in the middle of these issues with these characters. And there's no context as to how we got here. There's no context as to why there's no context as to why the tension is there.
Right.
And then we get, it's almost like watching a Tubi movie where you come out and you get a drop of information or you get a piece of information and then you never circle back around to that.
Right.
And three things I feel like we never circle back around to. One, we never circle back around to the situation with the mom and why, like, you know, you basically have all this pull in the community, but you're broke. So, like, what's going on with that? Like, we never circle back around to that. And I feel like we never really get into a little bit more, which I think it deserved, the dynamics of the mom and how she's so controlling over the boys. Like we never really get to really understand that we kind of have to put it together.
Yes.
Then he has that conversation about, oh, she made me kill my dad.
Yeah.
He comes back to it again at the end, right before they had their altercation about, my mom, you know, he used to do this and that's why I had to kill him. But we never really get into that. Like, we never really get into what that was about. I would have really just loved like a flashback scene.
Yes.
To where we can kind of really understand how that relationship was developed. And then the other thing, I wish we would have gotten a little bit more context, a little bit more building up of Corey's character and his best friend, the girl's husband. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more context as to how close they actually were, because it really just seems like it was a fly by the seat of your pants type of friendship, but yet you felt comfortable enough to pop up at his house. You felt comfortable like you were around him enough to share his personal business. Right. I just kind of wish we would have seen a little bit more of, you have 5 brothers. Why are you and this guy so close?
And so I will say, this is what I think. And this is the only thing, this is what I don't like about, I'll say this. The movie was enjoyable. I think with what it is when I say I feel like the movie was rushed, it is the lack of character development.
Yes.
I feel like that I don't feel as if we're watching a movie. I feel like we're watching a TV show.
Yes.
And he writes as a TV show.
And it's more to it.
And you have to put more into it. And so because you write like you writing for Sister's 30 minutes. And so you give a lot of unnecessaries in a movie where the necessaries are needed. And so outside of that, the acting was good. I didn't see too many, because I have a big thing about the unnecessary crying that people do in Tyler Perry movies, or the unnecessary like overly emotional, like sit.
It wasn't a lot of that this time, which was actually I felt better. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the deduction of the movie, I do, because he does give you enough, to deduce what is going on from this line that this person said, this line that this person said, and it kind of, like, if he puts a point right here, he goes through the entire movie for you to then put this point here, right? And so you have to remember exactly what this person said. Like, this one person says like a flippant comment. If you don't remember that flippant comment, when it comes up all the way over here, it's like, well, where did that come from? And it's like, oh, that's right, that little dude did say this. And so it's a lot of strings being thrown, like, it's just a lot of strings. I don't like, I guess, again, not having the character development. It feels like you went home for a weekend after being, or a week after you've been told that you want a divorce, and now all of a sudden you romantical or see eyes for this person. And it's like, this man has been, and I've been in a abusive relationship, so this man has been your end all be all. How, like, women don't think that quickly into, even if it's somebody I would have given a chance to. And it's not as if she didn't show to me, you know, have you gone through something for a very, very long time and you see the, I'm kind of done with this. She wasn't giving that.
Right.
If she had been giving,
she was giving like a switch flipped. Like,
and
just, even her friend even said it. She was like, "You look completely different." Right. You know what I'm saying? You're totally different than how you was last week.
Over a week. And so it's like, and you didn't see much of, like, you just saw her running. Like, you know, she was home, and you saw the conversation between, like, this conversation is, so you have to deduce there were multiple of these conversations. Being an only child, them showing the video. I'm like, now you fast forward and then all of a sudden you stop on the same, you know, on this perfect part, I'm just like, oh, okay, fantastical. But I don't see how, like I said, if I was, like I'm saying, if she was showing glimpses of, I'm tired of this, in the beginning, and then it was kind of like he's asking for a divorce, and you may have been tired but weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
It was as if she was just comfortable.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't see, and maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, because I mean, I would have been pissed off if my husband had left me and I was ready at 6:05 and we supposed to be somewhere at 7. We had a whole hour. And she's like, I'm not mad, you shouldn't be mad. So maybe there was a little bit of, okay, this has just been the norm.
Yeah.
And so him just actually shutting the door kind of gave me what I needed to let it go.
Yes.
It's so many avenues that you now have to, I have to make up these stories.
And I think too, they didn't have to me, to agreeing with your point, they didn't have enough time lapse in between things. For example, that dinner and that conversation is the next day after the funeral.
Right.
I mean, it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
So you could have made it seem like you could have 1 month later. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because to make it to whereas this just happened yesterday,
and then we going to work,
and then we going to work, and now you're making a scene at the restaurant as if I've been getting on your nerves for the past month. Like, literally, I was just with you last night, you throwing up, and I'm trying to talk to you the next day, and it's like we get no kind of view into maybe like what he's done all day, even if it's just to show us like the spiraling out of his mindset. Like we see it as he's kind of dealing with like the fact that, you know, she's so quick to like we see it from her perspective. Yes. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yes. As we glimpse into him, we see the spiral from her perspective. I would have liked to see the spiral from his perspective. Yeah. To help me understand, how do you go from being calm to so explosive that night? I do see, you know, that they're trying to say that there's a alcohol element because he orders the bourbon, he drinks the bourbon, and then he becomes a little bit more belligerent. But I still would have liked to see, like, what did he go through that day that caused his mental to completely, the way he was treating her, everybody was looking shocked and surprised, like, this is coming out of nowhere. Right. What happened to you today that caused that to come out of nowhere?
The thing, and so then my other thing is,
I would have even taken for Tyler Perry to, you know, put a little sprinkle of his little dramatics, and I would have even taken a little, you know how sometimes in horror films they show you where like you see a character getting ready to have a psychotic break, they start like twitching or they have like little tails. Yeah. I would have appreciated a tail. Right. Like maybe if there was like an eye twitch or something where we see like, okay, this dude is losing his marbles. Yeah. Then I can understand. Yeah. Now he's acting super crazy because there's something mentally going on. But it literally is like out of nowhere.
But then I wonder, and because you would usually think that this would be longer. I'm trying to make it. In my mind, it has to make, like, I'm trying to make it make sense.
Yeah, we trying to force it.
And so I'm just going to deduce that you come from the funeral. You have now had to take your brother with rigor mortis
Yeah.
out of the casket.
Yeah.
You and your brothers then had to go and bury him.
Right.
And what I've deduced from this film is that he was the one child who didn't stay with the status quo of not doing anything with his life and being the only one that graduated from high school. Now you meet this and I'm looking at it from a family that comes from nothing.
Right.
You meet this uppity girl who's this preacher, and that we don't like the preacher anyway.
Right.
We don't like these people for real anyway.
Right.
You may have not and I feel like being the youngest, you got beat up on a lot, you got tormented a lot because you have to go through four other people
right
before it even hits you.
Right.
So it's always something, right? And so I think seeing your mother getting abused and all of these things. And when she kind of talked to him in the truck, and she was like, y'all worked on this, and you and the brother that just passed away worked on this all this time. When you came and it broke down, you got oil on you, and we we thought it was cool. It wasn't that big to do. And then you put it on me, she's like, you have been always, so you were so mean to me.
Right.
It showed that this has been the relationship.
Yeah, but
this entire time.
I agree, but I feel like even that conversation, it just wasn't enough for me. Like you just give us a snippet of
here's
how
something
he has been.
Right. Here's an ingredient. Now make the cake. Like you're not giving me the cake.
Even with the friend when she wrote out the list of all the negative things the guy did, to me too, that was another kind of ingredient to where, hey, we're trying to show you, we're trying to build a history of him, but I just think that needed a little bit more juice.
I feel like, do you remember in what's Jennifer Lopez movie, Enough?
Yes.
And it gives you the same amount of and it still will be the same, but you got so much in the beginning.
Yes.
Right? You got a bunch of how they met.
Yes.
A few years later, you got the first time the wedding night, the first time so you got the build up without it having to, and those were like 3-minute snippets,
montages.
Very montagey. So when she now, because even with the guy that comes, like even with how she did with this guy, right? Yeah. The guy that comes out of nowhere, you realize, oh, she met him in college or whatever. They've been friends for a while. Yeah. Tyler Perry writes like this next 30 minutes.
You know what he writes like? He writes like we're in his head.
Yes.
He writes like we have been ruminating on the story.
Yes.
And we kind of know all the details.
Right.
And it's like, let me just put the highlights on the screen for you.
But in the other part, I think that he writes as if, which is because we've been in his world, he writes like this is a part of his world. Yeah. So if you've watched
it's almost kind of like you know what's coming because you've seen all my other movies.
You've seen my movies. Yeah. You've seen the shows.
Right.
So he's acting like this because somebody else in one of my other movies that acted like this. Right. The drunk that threw the kids out the window. You know what I'm saying? So this is a character that's just like this person. Right. So in your mind, you're like, oh, so he's had abuse in his life and he's had this. So I've given you the breadcrumbs of it's kind of like this person, kind of like this person. So you as the viewer have built the character around the different characters that he has presented you, previously.
Or even maybe different people in your own life that you want to plug in, like this just like so-and-so baby daddy. Yes. So then you plug in.
So you now become more emotionally attached to it. And so he does do that.
Maybe he purposefully leaves it open so that you can make those connections.
Right.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It wasn't
as bad as people said. People were like, "Oh, it got 0 stars or something like that." I think that was a little harsh.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The acting was really good.
Yeah,
the story itself was not bad. Yeah, to me, it was better than Mia Culpa.
And I didn't see that but I enjoyed it. I like the relationship between the parents, and this is what I do appreciate. I appreciate them being pastors, being a preacher and a preacher's wife, and how sometimes in the church environment, it's pushed so much to stick it through, that until it happens to your child, you don't realize how, for saying that you have to be a good wife, you have to do this, and
how someone can take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, I didn't, with her mom saying, well, I didn't praise you enough because I wanted you to be strong, but not realizing, not giving her that strength forced her to be susceptible to falling into this kind of situation.
Yes.
And so when they kind of brung that up, and she was saying, you know, it's never too late to change, and you know how you are responding, how you do things. Because she kind of mentioned that with the cakes.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't believe in giving kids false hope. And it's like, sometimes that's what you're supposed to do sometimes as a parent. To kind of help that fantasy, so when they get older, they also have the courage to be like, okay, you know what, this is not really what I want. I deserve better than this. And if you haven't given them those tools in the way that I'll say this, giving your child the tools in the way that they need them,
right,
is a problem.
It's a balance.
Yes.
Right? Like, everything can't be so rigid.
Yes.
But also, you do have to show a little bit of, you know, like, compassion too. Right. You know, like just going back to what the mom said. Yes, they were kind of the kind of parents that they weren't just going to praise her over every little thing. But then you go so far that way that she feels like, you know, she's not worthy. So it's kind of like,
she deserved to be in this situation.
Right. So as a parent, you have to find a balance of, I don't want you to be overinflated, but I also want you to know that I am proud of you.
Yes.
And that's just the parent's job.
Yes.
Like, it's hard, but that's your job. Yes. You have to figure out, how do I create
a healthy balance?
And a well-rounded environment for my child.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that the parents did take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way her dad showed up for her. I feel like, you know, we do get kind of tired of the narrative of, oh, you didn't have, you know, a father figure in your life, and that's why you're in this. So complete opposite, right? She had a great example.
Yes.
She had a good support system. Yes. She had a father figure in her life. Still ended up in a toxic ass environment.
Right.
But I love the way her father showed up for her. To me, that was kind of the biggest takeaway of like, this is how
the father showed up for her and was like, "You touched my wife, though."
Yes.
Now he got beat up.
He did get beat up, but still, I don't care. Like, it was the.
But he wasn't gonna win 1-on-1 though.
It was the principle though,
right.
and he wasn't gonna win 1 on. And I honestly think that the father probably could have killed him that night, but his conscience was like, I really don't want to kill this man, because he had the gun on him.
Right.
But that's what I would want. Like, yes. My dad will pull up on you with a shotgun,
with all the guns.
So I did appreciate that. I did like that. And
it was some, you know, I saw they were trying to be like the cutesy when he was like, and I also like when he's like, I hold her hand, and we also make like she said, now calm down, shut up, and then when he was like, what's going on in here? She's like, we're on our period. She said, no, Celia, you still having a period. Like, sir, mind your business. Yes.
That was code for mind your business.
Mind your business and go on with your overalls. So I thought they had some like trying to be cutesy moments, but then I was like, don't. The girl that was like, and I know I'm from the north, and I said, you are from the north, because that's how you gonna act. Mm-hmm. That's how we gonna act. But time.
I also like the best friend too.
That's what I'm saying. So she was like,
no, I'm saying just her.
Oh,
like you were saying the interaction between the mom and the dad. I'm saying the interaction between the two friends.
Yes.
Like, she wasn't one of those friends, you know, like in movies, you'd be like, why are you letting her go there? Why are you letting her do this? She wasn't that kind of friend.
Right.
She was like, we need to get a restraining order.
And I don't care what you talking. It was some stuff.
I'm gonna drive you home. Yeah. I was like, yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And then I want you. I don't care about this job, sir. Please.
Yes.
But then my mom was like, now Tyler, where is the policeman?
Right.
We in the bank.
In the bank too. They ain't about to just let nobody roll up in no bank like that.
And then he just gonna walk off.
Right.
Yeah, you're tripping. But I appreciated her character. I would have liked to see, I wish they had done the montage of like, even if it was like they all went out to dinner and she did something to piss him off.
Right.
Then they got home. And so you saw like when the beatings, or, you know, just so that you know, like, was he always this and you just did this for 17 years?
Right.
Or were there good times and then like glimpses of small indiscretion?
I kind of wanted to see because the friend is fed up, right?
Yes.
So I kind of also wanted to see what, and I guess he's like, whatever, you can imagine it, but what was it that got the friend to the point, you know what I'm saying? Because just the way they did it, it's almost like the friend didn't really get to see too much of what was going on. But if he had done stuff in front of her friend, right, I could understand her friend's outrage. I understand it either way,
right?
But I guess I just wanted that. I wanted that visual of, right, nah, because you did this and you did that,
right? And now
I'm pissed at you too.
And the thing is, it's like, the thing that I hate, and he played it, he did what it was correct, how his friend did not really hold him accountable.
Oh, that fucking pissed me off so much.
The dudes be like that.
They be like that.
It's like, bro, and
I was like, what does this man have to do for you to not fuck with him? Like, he's disrespecting your wife. He done outed you. He's disrespecting you. He's shown up at your house unannounced. Like, and you still like, man, calm down, man, chill, don't be like that, man, relax.
But then my other part of me is like, you scared of him. You're scared of him because you know his brothers and you know what they be doing. And so you scared of him. So you're a friend
out of fear.
Because my thing is, if that was your real homeboy, and I'm going to just be honest, no matter how your wife feel about her friend, if that was your homeboy and it wasn't just a friendship out of convenience, or I'm not going to not be his friend because I need to kind of be around, you wouldn't have that other dude at your house.
Exactly.
Just kikiing it up.
Exactly.
Granted, maybe the 3 of them all went to school together, or the 4 of them, and he met the young lady from when she moved. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
Moved down to Atlanta, because if you're saying that she's 38, baby, she my age.
Yeah.
2 years from 40.
Mm-hmm.
Our age. Mm-hmm. So you talking about 17 years. So they met when she was 22.
Mm-hmm.
That means it was around the time, more often than not, either she was down here for college because she was a financial,
like an accountant.
So I'm just spitballing that they met in college, or, and that's maybe why they did move to Atlanta.
Right.
You know, whatever. But to know each other for 17 years, and maybe they even just met at the.
But he grew up in that town too.
Who?
You talking about the friend's husband?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about her Megan Good's love interest.
No. I'm talking about the friend's husband.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, I'm wondering if
remember at the funeral, he was like, I've known him and his family for longer than you. He said that to Megan Good's. Remember when she was
right. So so I'm saying, was he like a childhood, when I say the 4 of them, I'm talking about the friend's husband, the guy, Megan Good, and the Benny. So
we know that Megan Good and her husband in the movie, Corey, we know that they went to high school together at least, because they went to prom together. And we know that the best friend said, I knew him for longer than you. So they must have maybe went to elementary school together.
Who?
The best friend's husband.
That's what I'm saying. So that's when I say the 4 of them have known each other.
So where does the best friend come in at? Maybe college.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying she's a financial accountant. So maybe they met when
the 3 of them all grew up together, and his wife comes in around college time.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And when I said the 4, I'm looking at them at the party.
Right.
So the best friend and the new love interest knew each other. Also still from that town. Right. Kind of thing.
Yes.
So maybe that's why he's like, I mean, I know the dude. It's not him coming over. Because he was at the bar. Like, he'd been at that man's house.
Yeah.
Right? So.
But I also think, too, like, his wife, the best friend, he probably didn't really have too much time to be like, I don't want him over here. Because she was like, oh, y'all can come over, blah, blah, blah. So she had already set all that up.
Well, I was talking about, because the day after her, the day she got divorced.
Right.
Because he was there as the bartender for the party.
So she called him, because remember she said, your dad gave me his phone number.
Right. So and that's what I'm saying. So he must have known him, because
first of all, why was the husband even at the divorce party?
So I
get it, it's his house, but I feel like he shouldn't have been there.
But this is what I mean when I say I feel like
that's when he should have left and been like, yeah, y'all go ahead and have a divorce party. I'm gonna check on old boy.
But that's what I mean.
Because that is your friend.
But that's what I mean. I don't think that, like, I think he's a friend out of fear and been his friend for this long and knows the ins and outs. So yeah, that's my friend, and I'm trying to. I have love for him, but I'm also tired of his shenanigans as well. Yeah. But I'm also too scared to be like, I'm done with your ass. Yeah. And, you know what I'm saying? And also knowing, probably still like caring for Megan Good's character, and I just can't lead a situation knowing who she's dealing with.
Yeah. I did also find it interesting that the only time he really got bucked was when
he brought up the
no, was when it was another. So remember, he comes right, and he's like, I'll fuck you up in here. I feel like you only saying that because Benji's also here. And you know,
Big Ben is swole up.
And you know it would be a 2-against-1 type situation. But whenever it's just you and him, you never get that butt.
You're showing your light skin a little bit.
A little bit. Just a smidge, a tad.
And I feel as if I get it though. It's like, bro, you too old for this. Yeah. You asked for the divorce. Right. And now you backtracking. Right. Because you're really going along with trying to stay in the same, like mentally stay where you've come from. And it's easier for you to stay there than to be a better person because it's harder. Yes. So she's like, you need help. No, I don't want no help. Because you've been instilled that whatever you went through your childhood and all of those things, you being better also, I think we all know when you get better, you have to cut off that part. Yes. And so that would have meant
cutting off your family, right? Which he don't want to do.
Exactly. The family's the problem, but he don't want to leave the family. Right. Yeah. And that's what he keeps. When he kept saying, "You trying to change me," and it's like trying to make you better is not trying to change you. So when she was like, "We didn't have to have that," when he was like, "We didn't have to have that funeral." And we just buried him back in the back on our land. We already had a process, and you trying to change our process. It's like sometimes, and I think he gave nuggets, and if you weren't paying attention, you would miss them. But we as women have to stop trying to make somebody into something that we feel can be better. They might just be the best person that they are, and you're tearing yourself down. In the midst of, like his father said, misery loves company, don't be their company. Right. Let that man go. Let him do him. If that's the type of family that he wants to continue to be a part of, if he wants to continue to have those same ideals, the woman have to be strong enough to say, I'll still love you, but I can
love you from a distance.
I got to love you from a distance, baby. Yeah. So
it's like you want to walk away from it like, okay, that was a good movie. It gave you this. Yes, it begins, there's a middle, there's an end, you have closure, it's all tied up in a nice little bow. Yes. You didn't have to think too hard. Exactly. But he doesn't obviously give that. He's like, whatever, it's my world, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Join me. Join me or not. Because I have people that want to join. They're Tyler Perry stans. And like again, he has some shows that have been long running. Meet the Pains was good. Meet the Browns was good. Not necessarily. I mean, the movie was good with Angela Bassett. Like he has good stuff. It's just like, and maybe that he does this on purpose. It leaves you wanting more.
Yes, I think that's the biggest issue, that he has the money to do his art and put it out, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's just like, music artists. Beyonce has the resources to do a country album and put it out there. It ain't got to be perfect. That's just what she wanted to do.
And I will say this. I do appreciate about Tyler Perry, because even Taraji said it, that he was the only one that paid her worth. He puts these black actors back to work. Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That absolutely. I have to big salute. And not just those, it's the social media people, personalities that he has formed into them being really good actors, or they've been doing small stuff and he's put them into like with Kadeem's husband. DeVal. Because I've seen what was I watching? I was watching Law and Order, child. He was one of the little criminals that they were trying to like. Now he wasn't a criminal. They had to.
He was a suspect.
And I was like, not true. Oh God. This was a long time ago, but so he's putting people on like what's the girl that just had a baby with Cam Newton? You know who she is. Have you seen Sisters?
No,
not
Sisters. I don't watch that.
You haven't watched the team?
I don't watch none of it.
Okay, so she's the one. I can't think of her name. Oh, for the life of me. But you would have seen her on social because she was more on social media than anything. But anyway, I'm gonna say he does put a lot of social media. Like he put what's her face in what's his name? DC Young Fly.
Not what's her face and what's his name.
He's put DC Young Fly. He put oh no, that wasn't his movie. The Christmas movie.
Oh, that was Eddie Murphy.
That was Eddie Murphy's movie. Okay. Oh, Jasmine Brown.
Okay.
Do they have a picture of her?
It doesn't matter because I don't know
Cam
who she
Newton's
is.
girlfriend.
Okay, Jasmine Brown.
She used to be on social media a lot talking about relationships and stuff like that. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she just had a baby.
I thought she was a comedian.
She is.
Okay.
So she does her comedian stuff on
social
the socials.
Media. Okay.
She's a social media comedian.
Got it.
I mean, she does her stuff too because she had a tour or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but he putting people on that weren't necessarily acting.
So she's in that TV series now because of she got big on social media, or she got big because Tyler Perry put her in the TV show.
I think she was getting big on social media, doing like social media tour, like the comedian tours, going into like the regular circuit. And I think you're applying for stuff. What is it? It's not applying. Auditioning.
Yes.
You're auditioning for stuff. So I'm not saying that she didn't have the acting chops, but a lot of big names are not just bringing everybody on. Tyler Perry puts on unknown actors and gives them a platform to flex their skills. And from what a lot of people say with Tyler Perry, you gotta learn a lot of stuff in a shorter period of time, and that makes you a really good actor.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up too with the movie. I feel like that guy, the Megan Good's love interest, his name is Joseph Lee Anderson. I feel like he was definitely a underrated, kind of like out the cut. Like he did really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's people that
he's not a known name, at least not for me. Maybe y'all know him. Maybe y'all seen other stuff that he's been in. But I feel like he did really good for, I'm going to say to be an up-and-coming actor. Again, maybe he's done other stuff. This is my first time seeing him.
So he hasn't, I'm going to tell you what he's been in. He's been in, like, sci-fi stuff. He was in, like, probably an extra, because I be watching. NCIS, I talked about my NCIS. He was in NCIS Hawaii. So it's not... he was in something called Magoober, Young Rock. So it's not a bunch of
big, heavy, box office.
So but you'll now see him on Prime,
right?
And so it's like, we might be able to put him in the Lifetime movies, or you know what I'm saying? Right. So he may be able. I just say Tyler Perry gives people a platform to show their acting chops on the big screen, or TV screen, and it allows them to kind of get out there. And I appreciate that about him.
Me too.
Reaching back.
Me too. We talked about that for longer than we was supposed
I know, because child, it was better than I thought. That's what usually happens. When I go in there with the expectations on the flow, it brings it out.
Yeah.
Because the expectations was like, I'm going to fast forward through this whole thing.
Yeah. But it was actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. So we could go to, so this is ending of the trending.
Okay.
Right? It's been all over the socials, Nelly and Ashanti and their stuff. And the fact that, and I know this is late, but they are already married. Yeah. And been married for 6 months. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Kudos to them. So that's my question. So if you could do things over, would you ever hide your marriage or elope?
No. I think the reason why they did that is because, one, they're famous people. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is just my thoughts. I don't have nothing to back this up on. I think she's planning a big wedding. Or she wanted to have a really big wedding. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when it comes to like a relationship, if it was a situation where I know I want to be with you. I don't want to wait. Let's just go ahead and get married because it's going to take a year. It's going to take 2 years to plan the wedding that I want. And just because the planning process is going to take 2 years, that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to wait 2 years to actually be married.
Yes.
I could see me in a situation of like, no, let's just get married now. And I'll plan,
right,
and we can always circle back and kind of do the big wedding thing later. And I know people that have done that. Just for us, it just so happened that we were already in the planning stages, even though we had a long engagement. We was engaged for like 18 months, so which I think is long, but whatever. Like, I can't put myself in her shoes because I was young. But I can see,
so let's say like now.
Like now, like in my, like almost 40. Yeah. And she is 40.
Yes.
I could see me being like, we know we want to be together. What are we waiting for?
Right. What is the
Let's just get married.
And we'll do it whenever.
I'll take my time and plan the wedding and we'll have it. But I don't think that the marriage should wait for the planning of the wedding.
Yes. Okay.
And so I understand why they did it the way they did it. Especially because she probably did want kids. And I mean, I know we like to be like, girl, take your time. But the reality is, them eggs run out.
Let me tell you something. Just so y'all all know, the day we come out the womb is when them eggs is up in there.
Yeah.
So them eggs is the same age as we are.
Right.
We don't get new nothings.
No.
I told the girls this. I said, by the time y'all was 9 months, I was carrying your children.
Yep.
I said, so now that done carried y'all, I done carried all of my grands.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with it. I think even for me now, as I've gotten older in my friendship circles and things that I keep, a lot of my personal life, most of it I keep like in a closed whole box.
Yeah.
Stuff that's important to me, a lot of people will know about. Like, I've stopped posting a lot on social media. Yeah. I don't even do birthday shout outs to my kids like that anymore. I'm like, I love y'all. Like, what the word, I show myself regularly. Me posting you on social media ain't gonna change nothing. And just like, I don't even take as many pictures as I used to. I'm really more so in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think I used to do a lot of those things because I was working a bunch of jobs. So I had to make sure that I captured when we were together. But we were together so much, I don't have enough space on my damn phone as much as I would have to be trying to capture. So I think I would. Somebody else eloped, and they finally told their parents like 10 years after they was like, I don't know if it was a celebrity or not, but I know it was on the socials. And they were like, yeah. So, because they were asking like, well, how did they celebrate? And it was like, privately. But they had been married for like 10 years. And so the family was like, okay, it's been 10 years. What are you waiting for? When are you going to propose this lady? Like, how long you think that she's supposed to just be your girlfriend? And so they finally was like, oh, we've been married for this entire time. And it's like, well.
But then why is it anybody? I guess on the one hand, why are you hiding it? Like, why is it a secret? But on the other hand, why is it anybody's business? Your relationship.
I think that's the thing. It's just like, I agree. Like, I'm not mad at it.
But at the end of, like, if I was married,
I think their family knew. It just wasn't for the socials.
If I was married, I'm not hiding it from nobody. It is what I maybe don't have to flaunt it.
Yeah.
But if you like, I'm gonna refer to that as my husband.
Yeah. So
you gonna know, like with me, you gonna know, cause.
And I think the other thing with these two, now thinking about it, I feel like, cause that's how it is now. Now that it's come out that she's married, that they're married, and like now the baby's getting closer, women are coming out the woodwork. The one that had the 3-year-old child before they had even reconnected is like, coming out the woodwork. So the moment you say if you even say we were engaged, oh, I seen him doing, it just becomes this whole
I think it's
media
definitely different
frenzy.
When you're a celebrity.
Yeah, it just becomes different. A mess. So now nobody's been saying nothing.
But I also feel like all of this stuff that's coming out now, I'm pretty sure she knows about. I'm pretty sure him and her have talked about it. It's just coming out to us now.
Right, and that's the thing. I think and that's what I mean. But it would have came out in the beginning of the beginning of their marriage before the baby was even, right. And it would have already been a mess.
Right.
Like you would have been starting off everything with a mess. I think keeping those 6 months, just the two of you, even with the speculation, like we all knew she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. Because you ain't say nothing, ain't nobody really saying nothing.
Right.
And so you really kept the first 6 months of your marriage very much so close hold to the two of you and probably your family. You've kept the 6 months of your pregnancy very close hold, where because there was no announcement, you got to deal with your life in peace. Same with Hailey Bailey. Thank you. See the Berries and the Baileys. She got to experience her pregnancy with, even though the whispers and we already know and it's not a full, but she didn't have to deal with a whole bunch of BS of them people coming out with he doing this and he doing that, because you can't know for sure. Yeah. A lot of people their mouths are closed, but the moment is a media story that you can hook your teeth into or sink your teeth into. You want to attach yourself to it and be like, oh, well, I seen him at this club and I seen him doing this. Now, if you seen him do it, you're like, oh, well, she's probably, doing this or she's at this. It doesn't become a big thing. Yeah. If she was, he out here and she probably in the bed pregnant and she can't do this and he out here cheating on her, it becomes a whole circus. Yes. So I think for them being older, I think because this is a rekindling of a relationship and especially how things ended with his ex and how long they were together, I think this is what they needed to have done. Yeah. It was the betterment for them and their relationship to also solidify their marriage in a time where it would have been the most sensitive. But congratulations to them. The baby should be here soon. She done had 2 baby shots. She looked good. She did. But I tell you what, she looked like a normal person with some weight on her. And I appreciate it. And even in most of her, like as she's gotten older.
What's so interesting.
She looked like she got some weight on her. But it looked good. What's so
interesting is, remember prior to them hooking up, how it was like all these social media posts about Ashanti and her body and like how good she looked. And it's so crazy because now she pregnant and that beach body that she had a year ago.
Hello, she looked normal.
She doubled that size.
I appreciate. That's what I appreciate.
But I think she's healthy. I hope she's healthy. I don't know. I hope she's healthy.
She looks healthy. She looks healthy and happy. Very well.
Even though she is gaining weight, but she's carrying well, and that stomach is huge. So I feel like that baby gonna be big.
But a lot of times, as I know, the older you get, the bigger that baby be.
Really?
The bigger your body be.
For real?
Girl, I don't know if it's the water weight. I don't know. Because I'll say this. Even through her pregnancy, Ashanti wasn't huge. She's always looked like, to me, she's always looked like a healthy, sexy woman. Yeah. She didn't look, no shade, she didn't look like your Cardi B's. She looked like a naturally healthy, I still eat and I work out as much as I can. Right. And like how Megan Thee Stallion, you could tell like she eat pizza. Right. Like she eat pizza. Yeah. And so you could just see that Ashanti, she had the natural black girl body. Right. I may not have much of a waist, but I still, my grandmama arms is up in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Her grandmama from the South. Yeah. Kind of thing. And so as she always has looked to me the norm, like the normal. As you get older, you don't lose weight the same. As you get older, this doesn't fall off the same. She doesn't look like the celebrity Holly Berries or like you this age and you this small, like I have to be vegan, or it's so restrictive in your life. It just think like she's just having a good time, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So congratulations, big congratulations to them. And I tell you what, Nelly he ain't take no smile off his face.
I know.
I just hope everything works out.
I'm happy for them. I hope it works
them.
out. I think that it can be a really beautiful relationship, and I just hope.
And a baby came out of it. Yeah. It's so nice.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for them.
Kudos. Good job, Nelly.
Anyway, all right. We need to get out of here.
That ends another wonderful episode. So we're gonna be full disclosure. We have been talking because school's getting ready to start. It's getting ready to get live and in color for us. Just to kind of holidays is getting ready to start. So we are discussing what we're gonna call it. Holiday hours.
A break. Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna call it a holiday break.
Something.
But we're gonna still try to pump out episodes. But there may be some times where we just the schedules don't schedule.
First of all, it's 32 weeks in a year. This is episode 26. We've been consistent.
We've been giving them the giving.
We have been
giving you good old content.
We have not missed a week since we started.
We did.
What week we missed?
We missed a week before.
No, we didn't.
We just postponed.
Yeah.
And we doubled up on y'all.
Yeah, we doubled up.
We doubled up on y'all. That's
we
right.
haven't missed a week.
Yeah, we've been on it.
And
we're tired sometimes.
And I feel like, give us some credit for that.
Give us some credit. We're a new pod, and we've been giving y'all the give. So give us some grace, and we're going to figure out our schedule and how it's going to work. But we're going to try to take some time to be able to focus on healthcare, self-care, and family stuff.
And what may have to happen, and we got another live coming up that we're going to try to do before the summer's over, but what we may end up doing is batch recordings. And I'm saying that because if we talk about something and it's old,
just go with it.
Just go with it. Y'all know we recorded that 3 weeks ago because we knew we had shit going on.
Now, if y'all want to tell us to start a Patreon, and y'all could be in the live on a regular basis.
Man, the 53 people that be watching us every week.
Don't do that.
No, because
I know.
What the Patreon gonna be?
I don't know. $3. But no, so we're gonna still get y'all the videos. We're gonna still do the things. I know for me, I have a bunch of stuff coming up with the cruise and all the different things. Kids going back to school, starting that new routine.
My birthday coming up. It's
just a lot. It's a lot, and trying to move around is not becoming taxing. But we don't want to be in a situation where we're doing the same things or talking about stuff late. Yeah. And so we're trying to give you fresh stuff. And so it will be where we're not talking a lot about what's current or in socials. We're giving you just getting to know other topics, things like that. So just bear with us. And we hope that you guys have been really enjoying this ride. Because we've been trying to be good conductors. Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to drink to that.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button.
And get down in them comments.
Cheers.
Cheers.